In the shadows of cult leaders, it's not uncommon to find children. Dozens have been housed at the Koresh compound in Texas. Hundreds were found at the Jim Jones death camp in Guyana 15 years ago.
I believe they have a kid.
5 children were killed when a cult's headquarters in Philadelphia was firebombed in 1985. The impact of a cult on these children of adult members is debatable. Los Angeles psychiatrist John Hockman says, for starters, cult kids are not highly regarded by many cult leaders.
Let's say I'm running a cult, and you're one of the cult members. So I really want you to worship me. I'm number 1, and you're number 0, and that's how it's going to be. Now, suppose you and your wife get together and you have a kid. Well, parents have this thing. They get into their kids. They love their kids. They want to pay attention to their kids. So it becomes a big distraction. Cults generally want the members to be working a lot. They want them to be slaving away and doing all kinds of things. So kids get in the way. So cults will tend to shove kids in the background. They're an inconvenience. Some cults go as far as demanding abortions, or even there was one here in California, got all the members sterilized.
Gloria and her 8-year-old daughter Whitney say they escaped a so-called cult which they say treated children poorly.
They treated kids bad. They screamed at some kids. They spanked them. People would scream at nighttime, having bad nightmares. People would try to get out, but they couldn't.
You mean kids would try to get away?
Mm-hmm.
Whitney got away after her mother left the group after 15 years. Gloria is a recovering alcoholic, married 4 times, mother of 3, currently in a custody battle over one of her other children with an ex-husband, a man she claims is still a cult member. Gloria says she fears for the lives of her children, especially after she and the kids got a visit one day from a cult member.
He got a steak knife. He held my hair against the sink. He stabbed me in the neck with a steak knife.
What he told me was that I was the devil and that to save the world, he was supposed to kill Whitney.
Gloria says her daughter wasn't seriously hurt and her attacker was arrested. Stories like Gloria's should be carefully examined, according to Gordon Melton, author of 20 books on cults and religions.
Parents, in their zeal to put down a group, will oftentimes exaggerate what has happened and will take what we would accept as normal discipline in a group as abuse. And once examined into particularity, in many cases, those accusations would dissolve.
Melton says there are more than 600 cults in the United States, thousands around the world. Many cults, he says, can actually improve a child's life.
Overwhelmingly, they are anti-drugs. Overwhelmingly, they are strong on discipline, and they supply an order and discipline to the life, particularly of teenagers, that are lacking in the general culture. So they can have some very positive effects.
Rachel disagrees completely. She spent 18 years in a cult with her husband and 8 kids. Her 17-year-old son, Jay, asked not to be seen on camera.
I was physically abused, not sexually, but, you know, I was beat, I was hit a lot, I was punished. It was total submission. I couldn't ask a question unless I was spoken to. I could not talk unless I was spoken to. If I talked before somebody talked to me, I was hit, beat, put in isolation, locked up.
I think the most devastating thing that a cult can have on children is their lack of self-respect, self-esteem, lack of imagination, of being free to grow as an individual, because each person is treated the same, each child is treated the same. There is no expectations for them in life to be more than just a cult member.
Yes, I do have some information about that group.
Priscilla Coates works for the nonprofit Cult Awareness Network, a national clearinghouse for information about cults.
If people had some information, they could make an informed choice. So if they were recruited, they could then take this information and say yes or no, we want to be part of that group.
There are some parents who would say, I made an informed choice, it's a free country, I have a right to choose a cult, even if it's destructive.
But I would want to question them and say, just exactly how did you meet this group? You know, what was it that they told you? And I would be willing to bet that most of the people really did not know the name of the group, the nature of the group, whether it was religious or therapy or political when they first met up with it. and that they really didn't have any idea what commitment they would have to make.
What do you say to parents who are savvy, just like yourself, or who may be even more vulnerable about protecting their children?
There are plenty of places where there's information. You know, find out, read, go to the library. You know, look at both sides of the coin. Don't just believe what someone who's on the inside of that group is telling you about it. As far as children, whatever one's religious beliefs are, they should allow a child to grow up to a certain age, whether that be 16, 18, or 21, and then respect whatever that child wants to do in the way of religion or not. Each individual should have their own choice.
Boy, that might be the point. You know, the parents can go into it, arguably, on their own free will, but the kids certainly don't have a choice. But it took her 8 years to figure that out, didn't it?